So he actually did it. Keldon, with his blessing, gave up jersey number 3 to allow Chris Paul to keep his identity throughout the course of his career that is winding down in the NBA in San Antonio this year. And speaking of threes, the number 3 team in NASCAR for Richard Childress Racing lost its final appeal from that Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 debacle at Richmond. Hey YouTube, what's going on? Mark here. Happy Wednesday night to all, and best of all, happy end of Summer Explosion Eve and Lyla Yonkers Volleyball Game Eve. Almost at football game Eve, so there's a little bit to unpack, a little bit, not a lot, and I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible because my stomach is killing me from hunger. I got my camera's wobbly because it's standing up on the table, so I'm gonna have to hold it so while I'm recording this. So there's a little bit to unpack, and then we're gonna go, get some treats to fill our tummies. So therefore, why don't we get the important bullshit out of the way first? So we all knew this was coming, that my favorite driver since 2012, even before the departure of Juan Montoya in 2013, Austin Dillon was going to lose that appeal. I knew that appeal was not going to go over so well because it was very obvious what he did. I mean, I love him to death, and I'm ecstatic that he got to keep the win, or let alone even won that race to begin with. And maybe I'll buy the race win diecast, even though it'll be remembered for all the wrong and craziest reasons. But it was... Come on, man. You knew what the fuck you were doing. I mean, I get Richard Childress trying to fight for his grandkids, or any grandparent or let alone parent fighting for the kids. But at the same time, while you can do that, you got to teach them to be better as well. So therefore, this is, the fanboy cap off and viewing it, as a regular viewer with my NF fan with my personal feelings aside. Maybe you just don't. Okay, maybe wrecking one person is fine as long as, considering, everybody's done it, but nobody's ever done it as egregious as wrecking 2 people. I mean, maybe don't wreck 2 people for the win, and maybe you'll be able to get in the BL, have the win that earns your way into the chase, even if you're an easy first-round exit. So, therefore, man, imagine the uproar the internet would have had the penalty got rescinded in some way by the final appeals panel, even with how obvious it was going to be, which it would have, wasted the president at NASCAR sent that, if they would have, rescinded the penalty, give him his chase spot back, it would have been so much uproar on social media. I mean, it would have been, realistically, personal feelings and fanboy cap off and bias aside, another wasted chase spot. I mean, happy for Harrison Burton for winning last weekend, but he has no business being near the chase, even though I am happy for him and love a feel-good underdog story. But realistically, the 3 and the 21 have been dog water this year. And even if Austin won that cleanly at Richmond in the Monte Carlo 400 with, without the Rick Recchi Spenhouse Jr. caution, realistically, RCR has not been good since Dale Sr. was there, and then when Harvick carried the team after Sr. had passed. But, they're really not like they were going to do much in the chase anyway, to the point where Burton is already going to be a waste of a chase spot. Austin would have been a second waste of a chase spot. So if someone like Daniel Hemrick were to run out and do Southern 500 this weekend in a situation where Austin did get his chase spot back, the chase would be a shit show this year. Where I have more details about the chase in terms of the schedule for next year in a little bit. So I applaud NASCAR and the appeals board and the final appeals board for, sticking to their guns and, not letting this precedent they said get that NASCAR as a whole said to get altered to the point where if they would have babied him or whatever, I would say, I don't know if that's the right term to use, where it would have altered the precedent for the drivers, the younger drivers particularly, or don't have too much experience, or the kids, the younger audience watching NASCAR, the drivers' kids, okay, so since they took away the penalty, I guess that's okay then. No. Even if they would have taken away, rescinded the penalty altogether and, gave him his chase spot back, it's still wrong regardless. You don't do that. I mean, come on. I mean, Dale Sr. wrecked people for wins and for people in general and was dirty as himself, but not to that extent. Even that's coming from a fan of both Earnhardt Sr. and Dillon. So RCR, Austin, be better. Anyway, moving on. Keldon Johnson, in the surprising turn of events, gave up jersey number 3. And the reasoning behind it is when he was drafted by the Spurs in 2019, the season of the whole COVID hit. He picked number 3 because his childhood favorite player was Chris Paul, and so he was inspired by Chris Paul. But ironically, Chris Paul signed with the Spurs during this current off season, and fans were wondering, was Keldon going to keep his number and have Chris go a different route, or would this blessing give up the number like Chris Paul, keep his identity as CP3 and wear a different number? There were some sources that said, Keldon did give it up, which he did, but there were sources saying he switched to jersey number 45. Maybe we shouldn't do that because, maybe we should retire DeJuan Blair's number. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. Jokes aside, but he turns out he's gonna be number 0. I don't know if there was a Spurs player in the past that wore 0, but Keldon Johnson's new number is going to be 0 to let Chris Paul keep the 3 for his identity as CP3. So that was a classy move on Keldon's part, to accommodate to his favorite player of all time. So, and they get to play together as teammates in the Alamo City. So pretty cool stuff. So I wanted to get that off my chest. I still have not heard anything about Zach Attack Collins or Trey Jones. So I'll have an update on that as soon as I find out what their status is for the Spurs. But so far they're here. They're like staying put for now, but that could change. That could remain the same. Who knows? But anyway, back to the racing stuff. So Zane Smith was dumped by Trackhouse Racing. Justin Marks opted him out, bought out his contract to the point where they were don't forget, Spire had, they loaned him out to Spire for this year for his rookie Winston Cup season, while they were trying to find a third charter. Well, they got it, but Justin Marks decided, opt him out of his contract and replace him with, Shane Van Gisberg. And, I'm happy for SVG, even though it comes at the expense of my boy Zane. But at the same time, I have this fear that he might pan out like, Ambrose and, Montoya did, consuming from a former Montoya fan myself. And, as in be elite at the road courses and maybe even Indianapolis, but, suck ass everywhere else outside of that. But maybe he'll prove me wrong and just prove that not everybody's an Ambrose, not everybody's a Montoya. So, therefore, good for SVG. I mean, I pray that Zane Smith will be able to find a ride, in Winston Cup soon. That way he can have his sophomore year in that NASCAR's top level. So, therefore, hope. Good luck looking for a ride, Zane. I'm rooting for you, bud. You're one of my favorite drivers that I began rooting for midway through 2020 during the prime of the COVID day, the early stages of the COVID year, so in 2020, and best of luck to SVG. I mean, I hope he can prove me wrong, be actually better than Ambrose or even Montoya ever were, even though Montoya's coming back in a few weeks to the Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen. But anyway, now to the biggest part of this quick news update video. So the 2025 NASCAR Winston Cup schedule has been leaked. My shoulder is getting tired, so okay. Oh my God. Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, so, yeah, NASCAR I don't think wanted this out yet, but I think Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi leaked it. So, therefore, the Daytona 500 is the day after my birthday, which I do like, which means I can skip the ARCA Remixed race and go out to dinner for my birthday like I did in 2021 with my family and, come home in time to watch the Napa 300 Busch race. So, therefore, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or do an episode of Poker Game Night that same day as my birthday. I most likely won't do Poker Game Night because of my birthday, so I don't want my birthday to be clogged up with poker, with the Florian Police, which that a little news update on there, a miniature, like with a news update with their news update. Season 3 will not resume until, in a few weeks, the third Saturday of September when episode 4 premieres. So this is going to be a short season 3. So my apologies on the delay of that series, but we're going to talk about that in the weeks to come. But as we close out the summer and ring in the fall. But anyway, back to the news update. So what I don't really like is that the EA Sports 500 is in the second to last rat race of the round of 8 and the third to last race of the season. That they're just getting closer and closer to making the EA Sports 500 the season finale, where a 20 car pileup and a car flipping in the tri-oval grass or into the catch fence is going to decide a fucking champion. So now that I say that, watch them actually do it. I do like that the Sirius Satellite Radio 400 is back since it's a June MIS race again, and the GFS Marketplace sadly had to go. The Pocono 500 is back, you know. Considering they moved Pocono to to earlier than they had been, or more Pennsylvania 500. I know a lot of people didn't like, New Hampshire getting put back in the chase, but hey, at least we get the Sylvania 300 again. But my only gripe, though, besides the whole EA Sports 500 being in the round of 8, is the Charlotte Roval has got to go. I mean, the Charlotte Oval that the Coke 600 has provided banger after banger. I mean, sadly, we didn't get to see how much of a banger would have been this year due to bitchy-ass Mother Nature and Pac. What the fuck am I saying?
Stop it. Get some help.
And Fox, being all salty that they were going to lose, they were losing the rights to the race starting next year to Prime, which they, even though the track was dry and ready to go to the point where they could have, dried the track. I get it was past halfway, so I can understand why they would pull the plug. But the track was looking really, really good. The rain cell had moved on through, and we've raced at into the overnight hours before, whether it's past halfway or not. So Fox was being a bunch of pussies and decided to pull the plug, on something that could have gotten restarted even past halfway. I would, to those saying you could have finished the rest of it on Monday afternoon, late Monday morning, early Monday afternoon. No, because if it was before halfway or stage 2, then yes, I can understand. But NASCAR it's obvious that the rule has always been past halfway, or as of the stage era, 2017 to now, past stage 2, the race is official no matter what. So, unless it was prior to either or, you're out of your mind if NASCAR was going to finish it the next day if it was past halfway or stage 2, which I think it was past stage 2, I think. I can't fucking remember. So it was several months ago when during the Finish What We Started campaign. But yeah, come on, guys, get real. I get the frustration, and I know Fox is not any good like it once was when it was, Mike, Joy, Larry McCrowd, Darrell Waltrip in the booth, Chris Myers, Jeff Hammond in the Hollywood Hotel, and the likes of Steve Burns, Matt Yoakum, Dick Berggren, and Jeannie Zelasco in the pits until she had to depart them, close to the end of the Fox portion of the season in the Gen 4 Winston Cup days to do her Major League Baseball on Fox duties, which was way more important for her than NASCAR and Fox, considering she was doing Major League Baseball before NASCAR came in 2001 to Fox Sports. But Fox, you can blame Fox all you want because it's our own damn fault, but NASCAR was not going to restart that race the next day. It was either going to be late into the night or not at all. But yeah, the thing with the whole Roval thing is the Roval was prestigious in the first few years, 2018, 2019, with the crazy finishes, and then the COVID race in 2020, and then the Harvick, Chase Elliott, saga with what they were in 2021. And then, but 2022, it started to get stale with how boring that race was until that piece of cardboard that was out there since 40 to go in the middle of the infield part of the track did not throw it and run into caution until 6 to go, and then it turned into an overtime shit show. And then we had team orders at Stewart House with Custer brake checking people to help Chase Briscoe get into the next round of the chase. Chase Briscoe did legitimately almost make it to the round of 8 in the chase at the Old Dominion 500 when Chastain did his Hail Melon move. But, too bad he really couldn't advance cleanly without the help of his teammate due to team orders. So, therefore, So, therefore, I don't even want to know how last year went because it was probably not fun, considering I took the year off from NASCAR outside of the GFS Marketplace 400 and that one person, which we already renewed our tickets before I decided to take the year off, and then the Gatorade Twin 125 at Daytona before that. But in other words, the Charlotte Roval has run its course because since the 600 has provided a bunch of bangers, either that of 2012, outside of this year. It's time to bring back the UAW GM Quality 500. So race the UAW GM Quality 500 on the oval, or just don't fucking race at the Charlotte at all in the fall. I mean, it's that simple. It's just like the whole Indianapolis road course thing. Race on the oval or don't do it, which they did the right choice. They actually raced on the oval. So good on NASCAR, but that's a story for another day, another video. And I do like the most important thing that they're doing, I'm a little like, in between about the Dodge Save More 350 being in the middle of summer. I mean, that's going to be the week we're going to be at the home days, recording the episodes of the Brookport documentary called Sandhurst Stories. But I do love that, the Winston Cup Series is going to fucking Mexico. So that maybe, even though this is Puerto Rican, maybe they'll play some Ricky Martin there during the, intermission, pre-race, caution, pace laps, caution flag laps, post-race stuff like that. That would be fucking awesome. And if I'm watching it, I hear Livin' La Vida Loca being played or Cup of Life, Spanish versions, I'm like, damn it, too bad I'm not there at the race so I could sing and dance in front of all those foreign fans and all the drivers that, don't, hear Ricky Martin all that much like they would have back in 1999 or 1998 when, he was, in his heyday and took the world by storm and had the United States set the United States on fire with La Copa de la Vida and from the album Vuelve in 1998 and Livin' La Vida Loca from his first ever English self-titled album 1999. But a man can dream, can he? But anyway, that's what I wanted to come on here and address this about. I think the errands 499 was I do like they moved Bristol in April, but the Food City 500 and that, they're not, racing on Easter this year. So I actually in favor of the Easter Bunny 500 off week coming back for the first time since the vaccine season in 2021. So it, it gives me time to do whatever I want with friends and family for Easter, which I have a Easter special planned for next year. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you'll have to tune in for season 4. Spring is in the air, April 2025 to find out. But I am disappointed, but I don't understand in a way that in order for the Mexico race to happen, the Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond is sadly gone, but we still have the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400, so at least there's that. But I think they moved the Food City 500 to April, and even if it doesn't rain like it did this past year with the whole tires treading like cheese graters, then I have a good feeling that, it'll be overcast, but not enough to, cause, moisture, and precipitation to impact the race. And I think they have, the MBNA Platinum 400 in the middle of the summer, which is good because, at least it won't be affected by rain. It will have a low chance of being affected by rain like it would, back in, late April, early May. But, MIS has a little slim chance of being rain again in June because August has been really, really bad for the GFS Marketplace 400. So maybe giving us back the Sirius Satellite Radio 400 will actually help us out. But anyway, that's all I wanted to come on here and talk about. I don't want to ramble on for too long. I mean, we'll do another separate video breaking down the 2025 schedule, little by little by little, by race by race by race, and sometime during the chase. So let me get off this platform, get some treats on my stomach to help me fill up. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. I will see you all for the next video, which hopefully will be tomorrow at Lyla Yonkers Volleyball Game in Ridgeville versus the Midview Middy. So Lyla, if you're watching this, as long as my dad can successfully, be able to be my Uber to the game, I should be there. And instead of doing a volleyball broadcast, I will just do a volleyball vlog, and we'll still implement the interviews and TikToks, in there like an actual broadcast, even though it's just going to be a regular vlog. So volleyball will have the vlogs. Every other sport, majors, importance, all the other important sports like football, softball, baseball, basketball, hockey, all that shebang, like Ricky Martin will have the broadcast videos just to differentiate it up a little bit. So see you later, everyone.
This copyrighted broadcast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.